Salve. We'll be continuing with De Bello Gallico from where we left off, and we'll just jump right into it to save time. Hi omnes lingua institutis legibus inter se differunt. So what we have here, as I've highlighted, is first hi omnes. This is all these. The adjective omnes modifies he, which means these, and it refers to the tribes that we saw before. Those tribes being the Belgae, the Aquitani, and the Celtae. Now we have in blue are some ablatives, which mean you can read them as by plus the word or in plus the word. So lingua means language, so by language or in language, by or in institutis, which is customs, and by or in laws, which is legibus. And then we have the part that is in red, inter se. Inter se is inter, which is a preposition, between or amongst, and se, it takes an accusative. Between what? Between some accusative noun. And here we have se, which means each other or themselves. It's kind of like the reflexive pronoun, except here it's taking on the accusative linked with a preposition. So between each other, between themselves. And then we have the verb differunt, third person plural. They are different. They are different. So what are we trying to say here? What Caesar's telling us is that these three tribes, even though they seem like Gauls and they're so completely different from the Romans and they're all the enemy, he's telling us actually these guys, if you consider their language, their customs, and their laws, they're all different. Next, Caesar paints a picture of where these tribes are located. Gallos ab Aquitanis garumna flumen, a Belgis matrona et sequana dividit. So, first, gallos, you'll notice, is an accusative. So something is happening to the Gauls. Then we have, in the ablative, Aquitanis, ab Aquitanis. So, from the Aquitani. So something's going to happen to the Gauls from the Aquitani. And now we see Garumna Flumen. Now Garumna is the name of a river, which is now currently the Garonne River in France. And it's a masculine word, but Flumen is neuter. These words are in apposition because it's the river Garumna. It's kind of as if they were in commas. Garumna, comma, the river, comma. But in Latin, you can just stick them together. So that's in the nominative. So that's going to be the subject. So the Garonne River is going to do something to the Gauls from the Aquitani. To know what, we have to go to the verb, which is dividit, which is divides. So that means that the Garonne River divides the Gauls, or that center Celtae region, from the Aquitani. So it divides those two tribes. Similarly, the sentence takes that verb again, dividit, and applies it to the second part of the sentence as well, like we saw before with appellantur. So we have the same sentence pattern. We're going to look at belgis is our ablative again. So from the bell guy, then we have two more river names in the nominative, the matrona and the sequana, which are modern day Marne River and the Seine River, which we'll see in the next slide. And so the Matrona and the Sequana rivers each divide the Belgae from the Galli, the Celtae, or Gallos in the sentence. It's interesting to see that dividit is in the singular, even though in the second half of the sentence we have matrona et sequana. You would think that we would see the plural instead for the verb. Perseus says this might be because the two rivers together create one boundary. Not sure if I agree with that. I think it's because that dividit in the singular applies to Garumna, and there's an imaginary plural dividit that goes with matrona et sequana. I don't know if I'm right, but this is the way it was written by Caesar. Next slide, we see again our ancient map showing Belgica, Celtica, Aquitania, and we see in blue is approximately where the Garumna or Garonne River is. In purple we have the Sequana or the Seine River, and in red the Matrona or the Marne River. And you can kind of see they kind of follow the boundary that's shown on this map. So these would be the physical boundaries imposed by the way the rivers cut the land, and where these different tribes lived.